BBC Hereford and Worcester.
The big movie at the moment is The Hobbit, but some people have seen it. They've complained of nausea after watching the 3D version. They're blaming the filming techniques. I don't know, though. Have you been to a cinema lately? You can't buy a small drink. So if you've had, like, the giant drink and you've had the popcorn and you've had the nachos and the pick and mix and... well, then you're blaming the film for not feeling so good. We got Val in Kidderminster. Good morning, Val.
I actually have a big teddy.
You have a big... You
can win at the fair.
Did you win it at the fair?
My dad won it for me when I was 4.
Yeah.
At Bromsgrove Fair.
Yeah.
So my teddy's 60 this next year.
And how did your dad win it?
On a shooting gallery.
Was he a bit of a marksman?
Yes.
Was he an ex-military man?
Yes. He was ex-Navy.
He did manage to win one fair.
And I've still got my big blue Ted.
You've still got this teddy bear. So you reckon that these fair people who walk around with big teddy bears and prizes at fairs, they're not planted by the fair?
Some of them might be, but
you think?
You know
what I've always wanted to do? I've always wanted to, like, get a team of experts to take on the fair. Recruit a few marksmen.
Yes, sneaky people.
Yeah, and get some, like, darts professional to do when they have to throw the darts at the playing cards. Because I always think it would be great, because they're up to the fair. They've got to be up to so many psychological tricks. It would be great to kind of even the score and take a team in and see if you could actually win on these games.
It could be great fun, actually.
Yeah.
You might find yourself being chased across the countryside by some rather irate fairground owners.
No, it'd have to be very covert. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You'd recruit the team on the radio, say, right, we got a marksman, we got a darts player. You'd probably want, like, someone who's a pool or snooker player, because there's often those things where you have to hit a snooker ball at things and whatever. Find out the games and get the experts and then send them down there and covertly and see, because if even they couldn't win, then you'd know it's completely dodgy.
A whole complete team of ringers would be great, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it? Yeah. Psychological tricks and mind games that have been played on you, or maybe you've played them on other people. I'm talking about in business, because the Office of Fair Trading is saying the supermarkets are being inconsistent. They're not saying they're doing anything illegal, but a lot of them buy one, get one free. They're accusing them of doing things like reducing the price of something after they've put the price up, so that you think it's a bargain and it's not. We heard earlier from Val, who said it was cheaper to buy dishwasher tablets, lots of small packets, rather than one big one. Which doesn't... it's counterintuitive, but she said that's the way it goes. Julie has been in touch via text. You can text on 81333. She says the cafe where she works, they don't actually bother with skinny milk or decaf. Even though you're given the option, do you want skinny milk or do you want decaf? That's shocking, isn't it? You're giving people who've ordered decaf, you're giving them caffeinated coffee, and they don't know? They'd be bouncing off the walls and not know why. Surely that's... Is that legal? Any other cafe doing that kind of thing? My uncle, I don't want to give you the impression that my family are a bunch of crooks, but my uncle did something which, well, it must have been illegal. He's a hairdresser, and he ran a hairdresser's in the northwest of England. And he called it Oyster. And he said it was called Oyster because they use oyster oil in their shampoo, and it's good for your hair. And I said to him once, I said, this oyster oil, where'd you get this? He said, oh, we don't. He said, we got some bottles made with an oyster on it that says oyster oil, and we just get the cheapest shampoo we can find from Macro, and we just fill up the bottles out the back. I mean, this is like only fools and horses kind of territory. He took it a step further. There was one day, 2 American exchange students came into his hairdressers, and he said to me, girls, do you want a free hairdo? And of course, they said yes. So he rang up the Manchester Evening News, and he said, I've got 2 girls here, have come all the way from America, from Florida, just so they can have the oyster treatment in my salon. Do you want to do a story about it? And of course, they did. It's in the Manchester Evening News. And it was a complete con. Had to be illegal. So I'd like to know when you've been manipulated, or someone to admit that they I mean, that Julie, thank you for admitting that they never they don't even have decaf coffee, and they sell it as an option. They just put it in a different jug with a different tag on it. I'd like to know your story this morning. Give me a call, 0845 300 81 81. That's 0845 300 8181. Or you can text 81333. Start your message with HW. This is BBC Hereford and Worcester. Now, I've got someone on the phone. You reckon you recognise me? Anne Lloyd, good morning.
Hello.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Worcester.
Well, nice to talk to you this morning.
I'm a great visitor to Monkey World, and I've watched all the programmes from Monkey Business to Monkey Life.
Now, Monkey World, we should explain, is an ape rescue centre in the south of England where they take apes and monkeys who have got nowhere to go.
Yeah.
They're rescued from photographers in Turkey and Spain. They're rescued from research labs and what have you. Yeah, that's Monkey World, and so you're a big supporter, yeah?
Oh, I am. I go every year. We go down on holiday so that I can visit a couple of times.
It's a magical place, isn't it?
I've only missed 1 year since 2001, and I recognise your voice from watching Monkey Business, I think it was.
Well, there's a TV show. I think it's on Animal Planet now, isn't it?
Oh, I've watched it twice.
And there was it the one where we opened Charlie's house?
I remember that one a long time ago.
Yeah, what happened was I was working on a radio station down there, and Monkey World, I ended up getting on very, very well with Jim Cronin.
Oh,
and
Jungle
Alison.
Jim, as you used to call
Jungle
me.
Jim, you do watch that TV show?
Oh, I do. I'm an absolute addict. I'm an adopted parent of one of the chimps.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love the place.
It is magical. I got to speak at Jim's memorial when he passed away a couple of years ago.
Yes, yes. I felt as though I lost a friend.
Yeah, well, I did actually lose a friend.
Yes.
Jim was somebody amazingly inspirational.
Yes. It's lovely to hear you, Graham.
It's lovely to hear from you.
Welcome to Hereford and Worcester.
Thank you so much.
It's a fantastic radio station, and I'm so pleased to hear a voice that I know.
Okay, well, yeah, we know each other. We go way back.
Yeah.
And let's face it, broadcasting is one of the guiltiest parties in all this. I mean, I can say this because I once appeared on Ready Steady Cook. All is not what it seems. I did not show up with food in a bag. They gave me food out of a fridge out the back. After 12 o'clock, it's Tammy Gooding. How are you, Tammy?
It's so good to see you again. How are you?
Great to see you. I didn't realise that you had to be fired by BRMB to work at BBC Hereford and Worcester. I mean, that was the last time I saw you, was when we were there. And Elliot, too.
Elliot was there, yeah.
It's like a reunion, isn't it?
It is.
Celebrity chef James Martin.
Well, I don't know about that.
You don't know about celebrity chef?
Second bit I'm all right with, yeah. The first bit I'm not too keen on, yeah.
And right now you're at the Good Food Show.
Exactly, yeah, I'm at the Good Food Show and loving every minute of it. It's fantastic and just gets bigger and better every year. And I've just come off stage now and, you know, filling up a sort of super theatre at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's brilliant. And you've got sort of John Turod and Greg Wallace waiting in the wings, and Gino's here, and Harry Bakers were here yesterday. Paul Hollywood's back, and, you know, it's great. It's great.
What is our obsession with this? Because I got to admit, James, I don't get watching people cooking on TV for entertainment.
Well, people do like it, you see.
I know they do.
Was
They
it
love
7.5 million tuned
Exactly.
into the Bake Off? People love it. And, you know, I never dreamed that I would be doing this, certainly as part of my living, really.
How did it start, then?
Well, I mean, I was always a chef. I still always am. And how it started, I don't really know. Other than the fact that I can tell you, you know, I became a head chef quite young and worked in London and France and Italy for a while, and then came back to the UK and managed to get a head chef's job when I was in my, you know, very early 20s and just got spotted, really, I suppose, from there. Really. It's not a job that you go to a school for and learn how to do it. It's just whether people watch you, I suppose, and it's, yeah, if it's a bit like the radio. If nobody listens, I suppose you don't get a job, and if nobody watches your show, you're exactly the same. But, you know,
I did actually work with you on a TV show about 10 years ago. I was on Ready Steady Cook. Now, I bet you don't remember it, but I was working at a radio station in Nottingham, and my radio sidekick, Jimmy, was on with me. It was me versus him.
That would have been at New Malden, wasn't it? Was it there? It's probably was at New Malden, yeah.
In London. It was in London somewhere.
It was in London, yeah.
We went down on the train.
Yeah.
I don't know. All I know is it was a bit different to how it appears on TV. There are a few sneaky tricks there.
Well, other than the fact that they give us 5 minutes to go get the equipment, that's the thing. But generally, we don't know anything about the ingredients. As soon as you tip them out, because obviously we can't have all the equipment underneath. So the minute you tip those ingredients out, it's the first time we've seen them.
Yeah.
But you know,
but you see, but it made out in the show that the viewers brought the food with them. They gave us the food out the back.
Well, I don't know. Do you have to write a list? I don't know how it goes on that bit.
All right. You're going to stay out of that? Okay.
I don't know how that works, but we just go in there and have to cook it. I don't know. I don't do the shopping side of it, but I don't know how it all works. But
was that your big break then? Ready, Steady, Cook?
No, the first ever show I ever did was The Big Breakfast with Chris Evans and Gabby Roslin. That was the first thing I ever did. Cooking for the Bee Gees. That was the first program I ever did. But all the while I was doing that, I was still a head chef of the hotel where I was working. So I used to go there and finish at sort of 9 o'clock in the morning and go back to the kitchen and carry on my work. So, I suppose that was my first big break. But my first break was really in the industry when I became head chef quite young. I suppose that was my biggest break.
And where was that?
It was at the Hotel de Van. I set up the very, very first Hotel de Van in 1994, and I was only 22 at the time, and that's when I set that place up as the head chef. And my sous chef then is my main man who runs my restaurants now. We've known each other all these years before television and everything else. So we've been mates all these years. So he's seen a big change in everything that I'm doing, and he's been along for the ride as well. It's been great.
James Martin, celebrity chef. Good to talk to you. Thanks for your time.
Cheers.
BBC Hereford and Worcester.
Good morning, Ainsley, Harriott.
Hey, how you doing, Graham? You well?
Very good, mate. Yeah. Now you're a bit like a modern day Francis Drake at the moment, scouring the world for flavours.
I know I have been, and it's been really interesting actually, because we're talking about that my 25,000 mile sort of travel globally, and it's all to do with kind of just getting inspired to come up with some new ideas for different kind of soups to go into the range. And the Bloggers Challenge Day, when we saw 5 of the UK's best food bloggers take part in a cook-off, and the opportunity there was for them to go on an Ainsley soup search, and so loads of people came forward. The eventual guy was this guy called Chris, who was the winner. People voted for it through Facebook, and he did a fantastic recipe, which was the shiitake steak hand rolls with a wasabi mayo. He won on Facebook, so we sent him off to his desired location, which was Japan. And he spent days in Japan. He's come back after being in Japan, looking at all the various foods that are associated with that country. And we've gone into a kitchen and we've created a brand new soup that will, in the next month or so, go into the range and people will be able to buy it in their supermarket.
See, I'm scared. I'm scared of Japanese food. I went to Tokyo and I spent, I think it was 4 days there with my wife. It was our wedding anniversary, and we thought we stayed. Like the first night, we went to Sizzler. We were that scared of the authentic food. But by the end of it, I said, right, this is last night. We are definitely going to have Japanese food. So we went out to this restaurant, and it was nothing special. It was just like any other Asian food. The next morning, we saw the place in the daylight. It was a Chinese. So I've been to Japan. I've not eaten Japanese food.